The Valley. Down in the valley there is a house. It is a small cabin with 4 walls, 2 doors, 2 windows, 1 chimney, and 1 outhouse 20 feet down from the chicken coop, which is an irrelevant way to say that the outhouse is near the cabin, but the chicken coop is closer. Anyway, no one visits in the way you might expect. The house in the valley seems to serve no purpose other than to have the identifier as the only house down in the valley. It is occupied by 12 people at different times of the year, 1 person per month at every month, and the person occupying it has 3 rules. The first being to not burn down the place. Simple. Especially since the chimney was rebuilt last year after one such occupant had the misfortune of breaking rule number 1. This is why rule number 1 now exists. Rule number 2 is equally easy to maintain, as it is to care for the chicken coop. Done. There is no property to maintain by way of a garden, as only tough grass grows there, and the soil is too rocky for farming. It is a valley, a deep valley, where if you were to stand upon one of the surrounding hills and look down, likely at the only house in the valley, you might think, wow, there's a deep valley with a little house at the bottom that I have no desire to look into because I would have to walk all the way back up again to leave. And that would be it. No one would blame you. I wouldn't blame you, and I've seen inside the little cabin. Unoccupied, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The house has no running water, which is why every occupant must bring their own, and are encouraged to leave behind any water they can before they depart. Here's where things get tricky. As soon as their month is up and they hear the knock on the front door, they must be out the back door before the audible guest counts to 10. On the 11th count, the intruder and now current occupant will enter having never seen the face of their predecessor. Yes, it's that situation, and one I have never witnessed up close. But it's what I saw when my friend went down into the valley with as much water as he could carry, and the previous occupant walked up the other side. They waved to me and I waved back. I've never seen their face and I still have no desire to. I left, and a month later I returned. My car was parked on the nearest street, and I walked to the valley. Looking down, I could see the back door, and inside, I knew my friend was getting ready to leave. I could not see the new occupant once they reached the front door. I didn't hear the knock, but I was counting the 10 all the same, and I awaited my friend. I kept waiting. I counted to 10, to 20, to 30. I was afraid when I hit 100, and then I finally went to the cabin myself. My stomach twisted. The chickens grew louder, a warning I ignored, and my hands were clammy by the time I got to the windows. I didn't want to look. It seemed like it wasn't my place, but I did. The inside wasn't anything special. It had a cot, a table, and the chair that my friend said it had, but there was no one there. I went around to the door and I almost knocked, but I grew afraid. A chill ran up my spine. What if I went in and didn't come out? Like a coward, I ran. I ran back up the valley, stumbling all the way as the rock slid out from under my boots and myself with it. I tried to call my friend by phone, but the number wasn't working. I ended up back at my car, and there was an old man there. He was so white that he looked like a corpse. "You were down there? That house in the valley?" he croaked. I gasped. "My friend. He's still there." "He entered the cabin?" "A month ago. The next occupant was supposed to knock, but I looked. No one was there." "Did you knock?" "No." "Oh," the man sighed. His hand went to his heart. "You don't know how lucky you are, my boy. My friend, that house has been sealed for decades. The windows are reinforced. The chimney is blocked. No one can get in or out. It's haunted. But my friend, My stomach lurched. The chickens. Those chickens have been dead for decades. That house has been empty for decades. The ghost that resides there lures victim after victim. Everyone in town knows not to go down to the house in the valley. But my friend, I said, he's not from town. He's my childhood friend, we said together. I nearly fell over, and then I did. My head spun, and the stony soil did so much to stable me. The man put his hand on my shoulder, and I saw the color come back to his face, a flush of a pale pink with undertones of yellow. I'm sorry, son, he said, but you have no idea how lucky you are. If I'm so lucky, then what are you doing up here? Why did you come to the valley? Oh, I. Then the man grew a cold smile, and his lip curled over his teeth, and he grew younger and younger, and suddenly looked just like my childhood friend. I was waiting for you to knock. Only then did I feel the knife. William, wait. And that is why no one visits the house in the valley. That is why you shouldn't visit either. However, which house and which valley, well, I suppose you'll just have to risk knowing you have the right one. For the wrong one isn't going to improve things for you. The house is mine to guard now, and though I do my best to keep the ghosts at bay, I have Will with me, and he helps too. He could have helped you, as he had a map of the valley in the house, but I fear the rain destroyed it, and it rests in ruins upon the pebbles before the threshold like an ancient welcome mat. But that old man, that terrible old man with the knife, he hears everything we think to one another, and then his lip curls and he sneers, and we're never quite rid of him.